Today was another wild one in the markets, to say the least, and we need to take a look at it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and do you know how Santa's reindeer let you know that he's about to land on your roof? They use their horns. All right, to keep the theme with the recent videos that I've been putting out, I'll recap what we saw in the markets, talk about what we could expect coming up, especially with personal income and outlays tomorrow, and then also talk about some of the stocks that I have been following. I'll tell you about some of the moves that I made and how they just performed from yesterday until today, with a day trade tossed in there, and then and also talk NVIDIA. I'll tell you guys what, NVIDIA, we need to be watching more than ever right now for NVIDIA. So I'm pretty excited about that. If you guys want to see how I'm playing this market, later in this video, I'll tell you about the Patreon, my options course, and about the free stocks from Moomoo. In the meantime, I do want to get right into the charts because there's a lot of exciting stuff here. So, matter of fact, I'm so excited, I still can't even talk right. So what we're first looking at here is QQQ. And you can see, man, oh man, this was crazy for us. Mind you, this could actually be a bit of a bullish signal. And we even have almost an inverse head and shoulders happening here. That neckline coming in looks like right about 407, 408. So we want to be watching for that one. And I kept up the Fibonacci's on this because I was talking about this in my morning video. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and check it out. So from our top that we had here to the bottom that we had down there, actually, I think I had over here. There we go. That you could see where we were messing around a little bit, kind of got stuck a little bit right there at that part of the fib, and then moving up at the 50 line that we have for the fib. And then 61.8, we came up and smooched that, sold off, came back down, came all the way down to the 23.6 level on this before heading back up again and like bouncing around off those Fibonacci retracement levels. And then we actually cleared up above 61.8, which is excellent because that can give us a little bit more freedom to the upside. So tomorrow could possibly be a green day in the markets. Let's see how the SPY did that same thing. And you can actually see they actually struggled a little bit earlier on that, but over here closed up above the 61.8 fib. And that's good for our retracement, and that can send us back up to the north. And having these two bottoms here where we have this higher bottom on the right than what's over there, this could show possible bullishness. We need to watch for that, like I said, in the markets tomorrow. Personal income and outlays, by the way, come out at 8:30 a.m. and we're going to be watching that for the PCE. As a matter of fact, let me toss up trading economics here, and I'll show you the numbers that we're expecting with that. So I just need to set it to the United States here because it covers from all over the globe. I got no personal stake in trading economics. I like it for the videos that I show on here. Let me hit the refresh button. There we go. So GDP numbers, just to recap this. GDP came out relatively strong for us. That might be a slight downward pressure that we saw from that, being that was revised down a little bit. Price index actually coming in softer than expected. That's a good thing. That's upward pressure for the markets. Initial jobless claims still holding steady, a little bit under what we saw in consensus in the forecast from trading economics. Good. Philly Fed manufacturing. Those are some rough numbers for us. That could be a leading economic indicator looking forward from that. Seeing that manufacturing continue to contract, we want to keep an eye on that one because after we put in whatever high it is that we are going to put in through December and January, I think then we're got to start mulling over some of those signs we might be seeing. And we also want to take a look at GDP. Actually, I think that what we get for Q4's GDP in Q1 of next year is going to be a very telling thing. And our eyes are going to come off inflation as that continues to cool. And as long as the fears of that subside and as long as that keeps on going the way they expect it to, of course, we don't want to see it turn into deflation. That's going to be bad for us in a hurry. And then we just want to see strength in consumer hold out. So we want to see that consumer spending continue for the GDP. So getting into personal income and outlays for tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. So watch the markets because they're going to change whatever they do. We do expect it to come right in about these numbers. So core PCE, it looks like 0.2 is what we had. 0.2 is what's expected. If we come in at 0.1, that's going to be a good thing, or even could be a really good thing in the short term as we watch that come out. Core is a little bit harder to move than it is for all items for PCE. So we do want to be watching that. That's expected to come in flat, by the way, when we look at that one. So personal income, we want to see that remaining steady. 0.2 is really good. As a matter of fact, if that continues to settle around 0.2 or 0.3, we'll be in good shape. We don't want that to be too low because that could be a sign for a weakening consumer because they're not making as much money. We also don't want to see spending slow down too much because that can be something that also puts downward pressure on the markets because that could sign that consumers are starting to spend less. So we got to be watching out for those numbers as they come out. We get Michigan consumer sentiment final numbers there. So we're going to be watching for that as well, although I don't expect it to change much from what we had before. So let me put the charts back up here and we'll get into some of the more specific companies that I wanted to talk about. So putting that back up, let's go to end phase and see how it's doing. End phase on the daily chart here. Listen, if inflation continues to settle downward, then tomorrow could be a positive catalyst. We have a bit of a bullish pennant forming up here, although we're still overbought on a daily basis. I showed you this on the weekly. Oop, that's monthly. My apologies here. Weekly, there we go. That the RSI has just crossed into bullish territory, which means that we could possibly see further upside on this. It'd be great to see us start to push up on that 145 resistance, that 145 target that I have up on here. I don't know that tomorrow's that day that we hit it. We could still continue to cool off as far as that goes, but I think the momentum is looking really good on a weekly basis. So even on a daily basis, if we still settle down a little bit, we still have further upside there. Tesla could also do very well with good inflation numbers tomorrow and also good consumer spending numbers. We want to watch for that as well. Also good income numbers as well. We don't want to see income and spending. Like I said, we don't want to see those come in too low. We want both of those numbers to be around 0.3 or better, which could be upward pressure for the markets. I don't expect that they could come in too high for the month of November, where it's going to be anything that actually adds downward pressure to the markets because it reignites inflation fears. I just don't see that happening. We'll call that a very fringe possibility, that it's very much out on the periphery. So for end phase, we came up and we almost got that 260 target yesterday. As I said in my previous video, 259.84. And then today was a heck of a day for Tesla. I actually did put out a short option position yesterday, and I will tell you about my plays very soon. Tesla is one that did not work out for me, but the other two did, and it turned out to be a very rewarding day. So I'll talk about that in just a moment. But for Tesla, I think that tomorrow could be a catalyst for that Tesla stock price. Maybe we come back and we actually test out that target or retest that target at 260. And I don't think that it's long in the near future here that we actually break to the upside on this. We're going to have to wait and see. As earnings draw near for Tesla, I think people are going to start to get worried about the last earnings call. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a depression in Tesla's stock price leading up to their earnings, which then could actually be very bullish for the earnings themselves. But that's way too far down the road. We need to see the price action between now and then, regardless, and see the different numbers come out. I believe January 2nd is when we actually get the quarterly delivery numbers from Tesla. I'm going to have to look and confirm that for you, but that is a possible catalyst coming up for us January the 2nd. So put that on your calendars, and I'll go out and confirm that, or you're welcome to go out and confirm that for yourselves. But we do want to check out the quarterly numbers from Tesla, because that will most definitely be a price catalyst in either direction, depending on what sort of results that we get. Now, for the big one, all right, drum roll here. I'm sorry if that was too loud in your ears. We got NVIDIA coming up next. And oh my goodness, I've been talking about the cup and handle pattern that we could possibly see. And look what just happens to possibly be forming up here. Now, mind you, we have to go to lower time frames to see this play out better. There's the cup. There's the handle coming off of this. Yesterday got a little bit overdone, dropping down to 480, which I said I didn't want to see any lower than 480. If we get a market rally tomorrow going into the weekend, leading up to Christmas, or even throughout next week, we could certainly see that as a price catalyst coming off for NVIDIA and shooting up this way. So let's actually go down to the hourly chart. When we look at this, and you can actually see it a little bit more clearly, let me adjust my window here for you, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. There we go. So I really want to inspect that handle that we have there. So you can see the drawing that I have here for you. There you go. My mother would love that I said drawing, by the way. Although she does say wash, and there's no R in wash. So that didn't stay around with me past like kindergarten or something like that. So if you are part of a family who says wash instead of wash, let me know down in the comments. It'd be a lot of fun. So check out this handle that we have for NVIDIA here. We do want to see where we break out the top side of this handle, because that's going to tell us a lot about where we could land in that bullish direction. We pretty much have symmetric lips to this cup, or rims to this cup, on the left side and the right side. Left side is just a little bit higher, so the right side is what we would go off of. So we'd actually go from the top of that, and let me see. Let me grab the trend line here, and we'll go from this resistance line that I have drawn here. Hold down shift, drag that line down. There we go. Ooh, goodness. Still not coordinated. Click. There we are. And I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to paste it. And when I paste it, we're going to take that pasted version of it, since we marked that height, and we're going to drag it out over here. And let's say that we drifted down a little bit farther on this one before we actually hit that point in time. And now if I just go down this way, that actually puts us at like 238 to 240. Now we're going to have to look and see on that one. I mean, that would be an incredible market run. Remember, NVIDIA is moving with the markets. We do have this technical going on. The RSI, when we look at it on an hourly basis, is actually in a really healthy spot. So we're going to have to look at that. Let's take a look at the momentum on a daily basis. There we go. And we're going to have to reset the chart view on this one. And now it doesn't actually look so exaggerated, but still, I still swear that NVIDIA is a $500+ stock, and we just need the market conditions to be right for it. Right now, big tech has seen a lot of money flowing into it, and then recently we've seen some money flowing out of it, and it's kind of going through a little bit of adjustment, if you would say, in the markets as we see money flow into some of the smaller cap stocks that are out there, and that broadening is most definitely a healthy thing, and we want to see that happening. But should we go back into a risk-on environment, NVIDIA, in my opinion, in that risk-on environment is going to see not only 500, but at some point in time 600 within the next 2 years. And that's if within that next 2 years we end up in that risk-on environment and NVIDIA continues to dominate in the AI space. So there's a couple of ifs in there, but it's always worth paying attention to. Now, more near term, take a look at what that looks like. Should we make it there? I still think 525 to 535. I think right around in that range is more likely than coming up to almost 540. But who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to watch that and see if we get that sort of movement coming out of NVIDIA. But you do want to watch for the prices to start breaking out of the top part of this handle, because that's what's going to indicate that it's time to move in on a cup and handle formation such as that one. So NVIDIA, super excited about it. And I said that we might have that cup and handle play out. It looks like we're getting that handle, but now we need to confirm that handle by having the breakout through the top of that handle. When we see that price breakout action, hopefully it's a volume supported move, although we can have lower volumes during that Santa rally time during the last week of December. So be on the lookout for that as well, because that lower volume is typically a lower conviction move. So just always the more we know, the more we can adjust to these things in the markets as they reveal themselves. So just so you know, if you want to know how I'm playing these markets, you want to see my buys and sells, you can do that through the Patreon. That link's down in the description. I got my options course over there, and options. I used options for all the plays I'm just about to tell you about. I used Moomoo to do these plays as well. And so if you want access to that Moomoo app, that is a wonderful trading platform. Love to trade my options over there. That link is also down in the description as well. Speaking of options, let's take a look at the options plays that I made between yesterday and today. So I made 3 different trades that I closed positions on, and one of them was Tesla. I took a put option play, and that one was my loser out of the 3. And then I took a call option position on TQQQ yesterday and cashed that in today. That was a winner for me. And then a winner for me as well on the day trade that I made today following the bread recipe. So here are the results of those in order. So for Tesla, that was a 36% loss. Ouch. But the name of the game isn't that you're going to win every time. It's winning as much as you can, and also winning as often as possible, and also winning more than you lose. And that's exactly what happened today, and that's what happens most days. So that's what helps me to stay in the game, if you will. So 36% loss on that, an 82% profit on the TQQQ call, and then a 57% profit on the day trade that I made today using the bread recipe. Thank you, Stockmo, for the collaboration on that. And I'm glad that you put it all together, because it really does work out very handsomely for many, many people. Actually, everyone that I know of who's actually spent some time to learn it and use it, it's worked out very well for. So with that said, what does it net out to altogether? When you put it all together, it ends up being a 40% profit from yesterday when I took the 2 of the positions, and today when I did the day trade, into today when I closed those positions along with the day trade. So the capital that was employed, $1,901 was capital employed on that. $764 of that came out to be profit. So that was beyond the 1901, of course. That's a 40% gain just from yesterday to today. So in less than 24 hours, bringing in 40%, I'll take that all day, every day. So put out some more plays out there already. We'll see how they work out. With that said, I do want to get back over to the charts, and then we'll wrap up this video for you. So getting back into the charts, here we're looking at Palantir. And so for Palantir, I took a put option position on this one as we're out down below this bullish channel, as I was talking about. As we look at the hourly chart, you can see the head and shoulders that I did not do a great job on indicating that, but right there we actually have a mini head and shoulders within the bigger head and shoulders. And so I do think that it is possible that we sell off in the near term a little bit more with Palantir. So it's something that I'm watching for, and I actually took the put option position on this one. There we go. And I believe on this one that I did the $18 strike, and in January the 19th for expiration for that as well. So I won't hold this longer, probably throughout the end of December, maybe that first week of January, but I certainly don't want to go too deep into January. I let too much time value bleed away. And also, if we make it back into that bullish channel, then that negates what I was after for that drop, and then I would cut my losses and move on from there. Look onward to the next opportunity. Like I said, it's more about winning more than you lose, and I do lose sometimes. So it's definitely worth mentioning because I think we need to hear that for our own sake, for our confidence sake. So moving on from there to Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a really nice 2 days rally here, and what we're looking at from our RSI, the momentum of it is pretty good. Watch out for a possible double top, because if we get that double top happening, it is possible that in the near term that we could end up drifting back down this way. So we're going to have to watch for that. We do have resistance coming right up here, and gosh, that's almost like a face that I'm drawing here. I bet you. There we go. Look at that. Oh, art skills. Hashtag art skills. But yeah, we could, if we end up topping out here, coming up, maybe we make it to resistance, get rejected, and start drifting back down. We do have support at about 41,000, a little bit north of that as well, about 41.5. So we're going to have to watch for that one. I do have a bullish bet on this one. I bought a call option for Mara, and I believe for that one, I'd have to look at the strike price that I used, but I went January 19th for that as well. So we'll happen to see what goes on with that, because probably by January 5th, if we get the movement, it's going to happen by then. And I don't plan on holding it beyond that date, because as we get near to that, whatever that decision date is for that spot ETF for Bitcoin, I don't want to be in that Mara position for that anymore beyond that date. So for Bitcoin, really nice movement, really nice momentum. We'll see if we end up hitting resistance or if we fall back to support. And we do want to be watchful for a potential double top just in case it flips bearish on us, even though I do expect further bullishness from here. Ethereum looking absolutely gorgeous as well. Really nice looking momentum on this chart as well. And we got rejected off this trend line that I had drawn on here for you. We want to watch us break up above that. If we do, that's further bullishness for Ethereum. And if Bitcoin starts its run, Ethereum is going to continue its run as well. So we want to be watching for that for ETH. And I think that we have some bullishness ahead of us. And that, like I said, that's why I put my money out there for that. That transaction is posted over at the Patreon as well. Actually, it's posted on Discord through the Patreon, just to speak more specifically. And then Avalanche, check this out. I had this drawn a few days ago for you guys, saying that we were narrowing down on a price. We have to watch if we break out of the top or bottom of this thing. We broke out of the top. And where was that at? That was at $40. And then we peaked out somewhere around $47. Awesome. And then I did say about a possible head and shoulders, just in case we didn't continue in a bullish direction. Well, there would be the head of it. There would be a shoulder, and the other shoulder would be over here. Neckline would be down here at about 38. And I said, if it flips bearish, if it goes to 38, we got to watch for a cross below 38, because that could be further bearishness. That could be a bigger drop. I said, however, if we break to the upside of this, then we could possibly see this trend line right here be met. And we got darn close to it. Look at that. We got so darn close. So that would be at about 47.75-ish. That we're looking at right there. And the high price that we hit, we're looking at the hourly chart, by the way, the high price that we hit throughout that time came out to, where is it? 47.37. So we came within about 40 cents of where I thought that we could get to. And not that we're necessarily done running yet. The RSI is still showing us that we're in bullish territory, although it is declining. So we're going to have to watch and see when that next pump is for AVAX, and see if we get to that $52 mark that I think it's possible that we could get to, especially if Bitcoin continues its run. I think that that strength is in there waiting for us. All right, guys, that's the commentary that I have for you. Let me know what you think down in the comments of this video. If you're interested in seeing my buys and sells, check out the link for the Patreon. If you're interested in the free stocks and the trading platform and the 5.1% APY on your unused cash, get that link from Mumu as well. And guys, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I sincerely enjoy everybody that comes into my comments and takes the time out of their day to have conversations with me. And to my community members through the Patreon, you guys are the best. Thank you very much. As always, guys, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.